Hello everyone, my name is Anthony Montes, and I'm here to present the last project of the semester. This project is called Car Rental and is developed by me, Hayden Kowalchuk, Johnathan Nguyen, and Rebecca West. The team name is Teammate Technologies. Here is a project summary. The project name is of course Car Rental, and the description is renting car simulation / e-commerce. Here is all the team members and responsibilities. I displayed HTML files for each city location and the cart page and the checkout page. Hayden Kowalchuk did the checkout scripts and database configuration. Johnathan Nguyen did the index HTML file with the login functions using PHP and database configuration. Rebecca West did the presentation slides and helped me with the Atlanta and Chicago and the other city HTML files, but did most of the CSS stylings and also did the UML diagram. So this is how our website is going to work. You start the index HTML file and you'll be presented with the option to sign up or log in. Of course, you must do this to continue to browse the website. Like most other websites out there, you're kind of limited to functionality unless you sign up. When you successfully log in, you may continue to surf the website to look for a car to rent. Selecting your destination that you are visiting, we have different offers based on different cities. When you have chosen your vehicle, you have the ability to reserve that vehicle by adding to cart, and then you may proceed to checkout with the option to select a different type of prepaid parking options. For the user inputs, we expect the user to see the signing up and login page and choosing the city, selecting car, viewing the shopping cart, and checking out. The output of what they will also see is a seamless transitions from user selection. From clicking button to button, they should be able to reserve the car that they want and see a very nice and detailed look of the cart page with the checkout page. And at the very end, we have the ability to get information from the customer by inputting their credit card info. The design of our website is pretty modern, very minimalistic, I presume. So at the index page, right after the user signs up and log in, this is the screen that he or she will see. And after clicking find available cars, the user then can select which city the user wants to go to. And from each city, we have different cars offers. Design page, we really wanted to have a very simple and user-friendly UI that it's very easy to see content, and the user will definitely know what to click on next after reserving a car or selecting buttons if they want to go back to a different city, or clicking the shopping cart button and it'll redirect you to your shopping cart. The design for most HTML files that you will see is heavily designed mostly with CSS, and the backend frameworks brought a more immersive user experience.
For testing, we focused on any sort of bugs that would have any hiccups or difficulties shown to disable the user. We wanted the user to instead have a fluent and easy experience on our website. User authentication, backend functions, and layout design was a huge challenge for us in creating this website. But once we got everything working, we implemented validators to ensure all files are working. The test case covered registration and operations regarding car shopping, ordering, and checkout. So we checked the results and input authentication from user sign-up, checkout payment info like credit card number and CVV, users' history on the website, and basic shopping functions like removing and selecting items. Next is the Uml Design, which lays out the main functions and general flow of the user, their orders, the shopping cart, the products, and payment that our website will perform as well as display. The Scrum framework helped us by being a great guideline and reference for us to have lots of communication through Discord, so we are all on the same page, manage and share our content files on GitHub repository, state the roles and responsibilities each member will follow, and best of all, meet the requirements on the rubric.
Okay, so this is our index.html page. This is the page where users will first be seeing once they enter into our site. It's just a simple page welcoming the user and asking for either a sign up or a login. Next, these are the files that we used for the registration under this registration folder. I used the files from iCollege as a reference to connect into the MySQL database on this one. And then this is just the sessions stating if a user is logged in or not. And then this below here is what our database looks like. This is all of this I obtained through VS Code's MySQL extension, and these are the columns that were set up for each user. We have an ID that auto increments, a username field, a password, and a timestamp where we know when the user signed up. This is the simple user interface for the sign up page. It asks for the username and a password. And here's the code. So the form method for the HTML file is a post method. We first request it from the server. Then we have a validation fail counter that tracks if a username or password is left empty, and if a username already exists or if a password is greater than 7 characters. Next, we have a selection statement to select the ID to store the username. And then we have to prepare the statement to the database, and then we bind it. This S right here, it signifies that the insert username is going to be a string value. We'll repeat this process once the validation checks for the username passes. Next, for the password field on this screenshot, we tell it to insert the password for the username, and we do it with similar steps. We prepare it, then bind it to 2 string values, which is why we're seeing 2 S's right here. We set the insert underscore username to be the username, and we hash a password for the password, making it more secure. And then lastly, if all this succeeds, we're going to direct the user to the login page so that they can sign in. And then this is the login user interface, which is also very similar to the sign up UI. So for the code, we first check to see if the user is logged in through the session, which is right here. And then similar to the sign up, we have a validation fail counter that tracks for the empty fields. Then we have the selection statement again over here. We prepare and bind the string username. Then we have the SQL attempt to execute the statement. First, it checks if the username is in the database, which is this right here. And then if not, then it's going to alert that the username and password mismatches. Next, we bind the password, and we use the PHP password verify method to check if the password and the password hash matches. If it does, direct the user to the home page, and then they're successfully signed in. If not, we're going to have an alert on the screen that says username and password mismatch.
Alright, and this is Hayden Kowalchuk, and I worked on the backend for things such as the Browse Vehicles UI page, which pulls the available vehicles from the database for each city, such as Los Angeles here has 3 cars at the moment, a Fiat 500, a Range Rover, and a Chrysler. This page is dynamically created by reading a couple different tables from the database, namely the city inventory table, which then states for each car ID how many it has in stock, and then it will use that to go look up each car and then output a vehicle card for each vehicle that is available. And part of that code here is on the right using MySQLi in PHP. And once you do add a car, then you go to the vehicle cart page, which is a very simple page. It takes the ID of the car that you added to your cart. It pulls the name, pulls the image, the price per day, and then builds a simple page, once again using MySQL, pulling from that database. And then once you go to your shopping cart, where you're ready to begin checkout, you can see either one or multiple cars that you have added. And again, that will pull the price, name, and image, and then give you a total price per day on the right, how many cars you have, and you're able to choose the dates of the rental you would like to choose. And this is some of the code that powers that. Going from the left, we have the code that is executed when a user adds something to their cart. We just check if we already have it in our cart. If not, then we add a new entry. And then on the right, some of the code to actually render the HTML for the shopping cart. We get the cart, and then for each item in the car, we pull the vehicle details, or the vehicle ID, and then the cost, and then we call get single cart item, which then dynamically builds the HTML to show that vehicle in the cart. And then on the right, we have some more code that just helps kind of keep all these templates together and processes some of the logic for the shopping cart. After the shopping cart and you continue to checkout, you are given the option to choose which parking you would like, between $10 a day free or a VIP parking for $25 a day. Below that, you get your total, which would be $1,400 plus the cost of your parking, and you would enter your card details, such as your name, the card number itself, expiration date, and the CCV on the card. And some of the code for that, on the left we have cart place order, which is executed when a successfully validated checkout form is processed, and then we gather the user's cart, the price, the date of their reservation, the city, and the user ID, and we insert that into the orders table, once again using MySQL and prepared statements. And then the next part of that, we have a function called order update stock, which reduces the available amount of cars for that particular car ID in each city. So for Los Angeles, for example, there is a single Rolls Royce. So when a user does reserve that car, it will be removed from the available cars until that car is returned. And then on the right, just some more of the basic setup that makes the checkout page happen. And up next will be a live demo of the web application in its entirety. And this is our rent-a-car application, and if we sign up and we attempt to use a username that already exists, such as user, or we try and use a password that is too short, we will get errors back. So let's make a new user, and we can use password 1. And then we have created that user, so let's log in as Dave, and we can intentionally put the wrong password. And we'll see username and password mismatched. So then if we go back and we correct the password, we are able to get into the application. All right, and once we are logged in, we can go look for a city to rent a car, such as in Atlanta. We can add the Mercedes G-Wagon. And then let's say we've actually changed our plans after adding that. Let's go back to cities and do Los Angeles instead, which will empty our cart. And let's add the Rolls Royce for $600 a day. And then we can also add the Fiat 500. And then when we go to checkout, we can see we have both our cars. And on second thought, let's actually remove the Fiat 500. There should be plenty of room in the Rolls Royce. And let's do this rental just for 1 day, from the 4th to the 5th, for $600 a day. And we can proceed to checkout. And here we can see our total bill is going to be $600 for the 1 day, and we'll do the VIP parking. And we can do the name on the card. We can use a dummy card number to validate. We can set the date. June 2021 is the expiration, and the CCV. So now when we hit reserve, we have a rental confirmation for order number 1, and the total cost to be $625, which includes the $600 and the parking. And now when we go back to Los Angeles, since they only had one Rolls Royce, we'll see it's been removed from the available vehicles that you could rent.